Alright. Let's go ahead and get into this new article about Star Wars. Star Wars Celebration was over this past weekend, and I believe it's ending today. But, you know, there was a lot of really cool stuff that was announced over this past weekend for Star Wars, and there's some stuff in there that I'm excited about. I'm excited for The Mandalorian. I'm excited for Fallen Order, and, you know, I'm a little bit excited about Episode 9. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm a little bit excited about it. So, but, you know what? There's this thing that Kathleen Kennedy said that did not make me very excited at all. So let's go ahead and get into this article here where Kathleen Kennedy talks about Star Wars moving forward. Basically, you know, they're going to be on a little hiatus, and then they're going to be coming back with more stories set in the Star Wars universe. And guess who's going to be involved in planning out those stories? The one and only, the great, incredible Rian Johnson. Speaking with Entertainment Weekly, Kennedy said that in looking at upcoming Star Wars movies, they're not just thinking in terms of the next trilogy, they're thinking long term. We're not looking at what the next 3 movies might be or talking about this in terms of a trilogy. We're looking at what is the next decade of storytelling. Kennedy said the creative brain trust will be mapping out a strategy, and central to that strategy are a new film series from Star Wars The Last Jedi director and writer Rian Johnson and Game of Thrones showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. We previously learned that Johnson was creating a new trilogy of Star Wars films, focusing on new characters in a new setting, and Benioff and Weiss were separately hired to create their own new series of films. It actually, I mean, it was never officially confirmed that they were separately creating a series or anything. That's just basically what people are assuming at this point. But Kennedy tells Entertainment Weekly that Benioff and Weiss are actually working together with Johnson to plan out the future of the franchise. As they finish Game of Thrones, they're going to segue into Star Wars, Kennedy said. They're working very closely with Rian. Yep, so, you know, Rian Johnson is here to stay in the Star Wars universe, and that is probably the most depressing news I've ever heard. But, you know, Rian Johnson is basically Kathleen Kennedy's little pet, and, you know, yeah. Despite everything that's happened with Star Wars up to this point, despite the backlash against Rian Johnson and the train wreck that he did with Episode 8, despite all of that, Kathleen Kennedy, because she is pretty much an idiot, decides to keep him on and bring him back and help and allow him to plan out the next 10 years of Star Wars movies. And I would, honestly, at this point, I would just say, rest in peace, Star Wars movie universe, because it's only going to be a train wreck if Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy are both involved. Honestly, that's all it's going to be. It is going to be a disaster. The next 10 years of Star Wars is going to not be that good, and I hope that eventually this will change before the next 10 years runs up, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Kathleen Kennedy, up to this point, pretty much seems to try to ignore the backlash that we, the fans, are giving to them over what they've done with Star Wars Episode 8 and all of that stuff. But, you know, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But I think that this is terrible news. I think that this is horrible, and I don't understand why Disney is continuing to let this woman run Lucasfilm like this and continue to run the Star Wars universe. And it's depressing. And, you know, there's other projects that I think we can look forward to that aren't governed by her, like The Mandalorian and Fallen Order. Hopefully more projects like that will be coming up in the future. But for now, I'm not excited about the movie universe side of Star Wars with Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy involved. I think that is a horrible pair to put in charge of Star Wars. And yeah, you know, Benioff and Weiss are involved as well. So hopefully they will be able to keep level heads and they can kind of balance out Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy moving forward. But who knows? Who knows what's going to happen at this point? Anyway, let me know what you think about this depressing news in the comments below, and I will talk to you all very soon in another video. Talk to you later. Bye.